This, Saul Canelo Alvarez. This is Terence Bud Crawford. Canelo versus Crawford. A true super...
The showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is nothing short of extraordinary. Revisit the biggest moments from fight week and catch the bold predictions from top experts.
Hagler and Leonard and Duran and Tommy Hearns and those kind of fighters, and by the way, Sanchez and Gomez and the great fights from years ago. This is one of those, and you're all a part of it.
They say a fight begins long before the opening bell. Back in the early mornings, when the city still dozes and two men, worlds apart, push their bodies to the quiet, punishing routines that shape greatness. In that camp, both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez were lost in those rituals, each surrounded by a team that formed its own universe. Crawford's camp unfolded like a calculated transformation. Stepping up to super middleweight to face Canelo, he reshaped his body with deliberate precision, adding mass not just for size, but while preserving the speed and accuracy that have kept him unbeaten. His team fine-tuned his strength work and nutrition, so every added pound translated into power rather than burden. Sparring with larger opponents and tailoring his conditioning, Crawford trained to maintain the fluid movement that lets him strike sharply and vanish just as quickly. On the other side, Canelo's camp unfolded like a lesson in controlled intensity. He put in expected work, pads amidst endless backgrounds, but layered it with unorthodox drills that reflected a lifetime of experience and battle-tested instincts. He kicked around a soccer ball to sharpen his footwork and vision, blending athletic play with technical drills that reminded everyone he was still a complete athlete at 168 pounds. Both camps dropped glimpses of their work, and the story seemed to write itself. The precise, compact sharpshooter against a seasoned champion with a proven frame. Yet behind the highlight clips and polished narratives, their daily grind looked strikingly alike. The tale wasn't so clean. Canelo carried weight, championship pedigree, and the aura of a man hardened by every storm. Crawford arrived with an unblemished record, a master's ring IQ, and the hunger to chase a dangerous win that could seal his place among the greats. When fight night came, the hype and weigh-in numbers faded. What mattered were the split-second choices, the lungs that refused to give out, the courage to endure and return fire. In the end, that was where the fight would truly be decided. Before the fight, boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. offered his prediction. Much of the discussion had centered on Crawford moving up in weight, but Jones wasn't convinced size would be a deciding factor. Terence has been bulking up just like I did when I went a heavyweight. Jones said, if he can handle super middleweights and light heavyweights in training, he can handle them in the fight. Weight won't be an issue. In an interview with The Ring, Jones admitted that if money were on the line, he'd back Crawford. He explained, if Canelo fights the perfect fight, he can absolutely win. But Crawford has 6 different ways to beat him. My money goes with the man who has 6 paths to victory over the man with just one. On all the smoke, Jones doubled down, suggesting that Crawford's hunger remained intact while questioning whether Canelo still possessed the same drive, though he didn't elaborate further. Still, Crawford entered the bout with hurdles, moving up in weight, dealing with time out of ring, and facing a stylistically difficult challenge. For the first time, there were doubts about whether he could impose himself as he always had. Some wondered if Crawford had already reached his physical peak. Canelo, meanwhile, was coming off a flat unanimous decision win over William Skull, a fight remembered more for inactivity than action. While much of the blame fell on Skull's negative style, Canelo's inability to cut off the ring raised fresh concerns about his urgency in the latter stages of his career. Of course, questions like these surface before almost every defining matchup, and history shows that great fighters often quiet doubts by rising when it matters most. Former world champion Jeff Horn also weighed in, drawing on his own experience of being stopped by Crawford in 2018. Speaking to Fight Hub TV, he predicted two possible outcomes. Either Canelo gets a stoppage early, trying to overwhelm Crawford with his size, or Crawford survives, outsmarts him, and takes over late, just like he did against me. Horn emphasized Crawford's accuracy, noting that if he could withstand Canelo's early storm, he had the tools to wear the Mexican down and possibly finish him in the later rounds. Another respected voice, Andre Ward, widely regarded as one of the sport's sharpest analysts and part of Netflix's broadcast team, highlighted Canelo's intimidating ring presence. Even when he's resting, he's coming forward like he's in control, and that can mentally drain an opponent, Ward observed. He also described both men as puncher boxers who thrive on damage rather than pure boxing, warning that in this fight they'd need to strike a careful balance between power and patience. Ward initially stopped short of picking a winner, but in an August 29th interview with Fight Hype, he made his stance clear. I'm going with Terence Crawford. It's a big weight jump and a dangerous fight, but until somebody proves they can break his will, I'm not betting against him. Not everyone agreed. Ryan Garcia, appearing on Cigar Talk the same day, believed Crawford would land plenty of punches, but doubted they would affect Canelo. In his view, Bud might touch the Mexican star, but not hurt him.
Bud's going to do good. He's going to do good, but I don't think he's going to win. But I do see Bud, getting a lot of punches off, being able to tag Canelo with some good shots, but they have no effect. That's the thing.
He has the best chin that I've ever seen.
And nothing moves his head.
In his final take on the matchup, Garcia acknowledged Crawford as one of the sport's best, but warned that stepping up against Canelo might be more than he could handle.
The best, I just think that he's biting a little bit more than he could chew. But you never know. If anybody can do it, it could be Crawford. You know, I do see him when he fights. I'm like, damn, how do you beat this guy? You know, he could do it all. He could box.
Garcia, who once leaned toward Canelo as a favorite, now seems to be rethinking his position, or at least acknowledging that the challenge ahead is far steeper than he first believed. My issue with Canelo is his intensity, Garcia told Dayon Boxing. He doesn't bring the same fire he once did, and I think that's what would be his biggest problem. Can he still counterpunch? Absolutely. Can he still be slick? Yes. But does he have the energy and intensity he had when he was younger, or even when he fought Caleb Plant? That's the real question. Garcia went on to explain that when Dmitry Bivol forced Canelo into extra exchanges, the Mexican star responded with awkward defensive movements that left him off balance. It's about whether he can push for that second and third effort, Garcia said. That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss what's next. Share your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned. We'll catch you in the next one.